Jennifer from Fiber Flux. Welcome back to week 4 of the 2018 Fiber Flux Summer Crochet Along. Can you believe it's week 4? I can't believe it. It went by so fast because we're having so much fun. We are making the Land and Sea cardi. This is a beautiful sweater that we've been working on using this fluffy, fuzzy, dreamy yarn from Red Heart. And it is cleverly constructed using 2 granny hexagons. And so far, we've talked about supplies, we've talked about an overview of the project. We learned how to make, in week 2, 2 granny hexagons as the foundation of our sweater. The following week, we learned how to seam it all together and how to fold it in just the right way and seam it so it creates a sweater. And then this week, we're going to be learning how to extend. Now I have it all full. Oh, here it is. Extend the sleeves of our sweater and also lengthen the bottom of our sweater. So as you're working, you can make your sleeves as long as you want, and they're going to be like nice wide, almost like kimono style sleeves. And then the length of our sweater, you can make waist length and not add a lot of length or any length at all. You might like the basic shape that we got last week. Or you can take it longer and make it knee length. You can make it full, like almost like a wearable full-size blanket. So it's really up to you, and you can customize it however you like. So without further ado, let's jump right into the tutorial and learn how to customize our sweater.
Okay, we're going to start by adding some length to our sleeves, and then later we'll add some length to the bottom of our sweater, okay? So let's grab one of our sleeves. Let's begin with this one. So really you can just leave it the way it is, but I wanted mine just to be a touch longer. You can make them very, very long as well if you need to. So grab your sleeve, and you want it to be kind of flipped up and facing you like so. Okay, so I have my gray yarn and this chain 1 space here. Insert your hook into that space and bring the new yarn through. And then we're just going to tie it right on. I'm going to just do 2 rounds of this just to show you because I'm not adding a whole lot of length onto my sleeve. But again, you can add as much or as little as you like. And also, I know I mentioned this before, but if you like your sweater as is and you don't want to change anything, definitely feel free to do that as well. And it'll be fun to see what everybody's done. Okay, so we're just going to throw this tail in here. We'll deal with those tails later on in the video today. Okay, so reinsert your hook back into that space, bring up a loop, and then chain 3. 1, 2, 3. And then work 2 double crochets into the same space. We're just creating new clusters. So that's 1 and 2. Okay? And I'll just get a little bit more yarn here. Okay, then we're going to chain 1, and then we're going to hop over to the next space, and we're going to work 3 double crochets. The reason we just worked 2 in the last space is because we did that chain 3, which counted as one of our double crochets. Okay, so we have our group of 3, then chain 1, hop over to the next space, work 3 double crochet, 1, whoops, 2, 3, chain 1. We're just going around the sleeve here, work 3 double crochet, 1, 2, 3, chain 1. Okay, we're moving right around the sleeve here. Chain 1, 3 double crochet, 1, 2, and 3. Chain 1, next space, 3 double crochet, 1, 2, 3, chain 1, 3 double crochet, 1, 2, 3, chain 1. Let me just turn the sweater around here. Our sweater is getting so cozy. It's like a wearable blanket. Okay, we're just continuing around, working 3 double crochet, chain 1. So 1, 2, and 3, chain 1. Let's
turn. Okay, so we're coming around to the back part, and where these two areas are joined, I'm going to show you how to do that in just a minute, because you're going to do it a little bit differently. Okay, so we're just working our 3 double crochet, chain 1, 3 double crochet, chain 1, 3 double crochet, chain 1. Let's get a little bit more yarn. We've really used up our yarn, but we do have some left, so that's nice to add some length. Okay, so one last chain 1 space here before we get to where those two hexagons meet, where we seamed it last week. 3 double crochet, chain 1. Okay, so once you get to this part, you're just going to do the same thing, but we're going to be working again into the chain 1 spaces, and this time they're in those corner spaces. So see how the hexagon comes around here and you have a corner space, and then on this side the hexagon comes around and you have a corner space. So what we're going to do is go into the corner space and work another one of our clusters. So 3 double crochet, 1, 2, 3, chain 1, and then go into that corner space and go once again 3 double crochet, chain 1, and that's how you'll work that area. You're still working in those chain 1 spaces, you're just working it in those corner spaces in this area. Okay, so once you get back around, count 3 chains up, insert your hook into that 3rd chain up, and we're going to join with a slip stitch. So bring up a loop, bring that loop through the loop already on your hook, and now our sleeve has been worked around, and then what we're going to do is I'm going to add one more round to mine, so I have a total of 2 rounds. So let me just show you how to move on to that part. We're going to, we're not quite in the same spot we need to be, so we're just going to slip stitch over to the right area. So insert your hook into the top of that stitch, bring up a loop, bring that loop through the loop already on your hook, and just do that all the way across till you get to the right spot. So we want to get back to a chain 1 space, okay? So chain 3, 1, whoops, 2, 3, and then just do the same thing you've been doing. In each one of these chain 1 spaces, we're going to work 3 double crochet, chain 1. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, just like that, and then chain 1. Let me get a little bit more yarn. Work in the next space, 3 double crochet, 1, 2, 3, chain 1. Let me turn the sweater around here. Our sweater is so lofty and fluffy from this yarn. Okay, so 3 double crochet, chain 1. Let me just move my scissors over. Okay, there we go. Next space, 3 double crochet, chain 1. We're just going to do this all, we're just going to do this all the way around. So I'm going to go ahead and work my 3 double crochet, chain 1 into each one of these spaces, and then once we get to the end, I will we'll rejoin, and then I'll show you how to finish it off, okay? So just work your 3 double crochet, chain 1 in each one of these spaces all the way around. Okay, I'm just working that last grouping of double crochets. So 1, 2, 3, chain 1, and then we're just going to join with a slip stitch, same thing we've been doing, to close the round. Okay, so grab your scissors when you're finished, cut the yarn and fasten off. Now I just did 2 rounds. You can go as long as you like it. You can make your sleeves very, very long. So let's grab the sweater now, and we're going to lay it out. You can see our sleeve looks very pretty. We've added a little bit of length. Now I just did a tiny bit. Okay, then you'll want to repeat the same thing on the other side of your sweater, okay? Take it as long as you need it to go. All right, the next thing we're going to do is work the bottom. Again, you can leave this as is and it would be kind of a shorter, more cropped look. So it's totally up to you. All right, so to do the bottom part, what we need to do is open up our sweater and flip it over so that it's going to be a straight line across. What we want to do is the sleeves that we just did, we worked those in rounds. Because this is a flat edge along the bottom, we're going to be working this in rows. Okay, so the next color of my sequence, if we look here, would be green. I'm going to add a little bit more length than I did to the sleeves. Remember, for the sleeves, I only did 2 rounds. But the next color of my sequence here is going to be green. So I'm going to add a few rows of green, and then we're going to finish off by adding a few rows of the gray to finish it off, and that'll add some length to that. Okay, so the first thing we want to do is locate, remember we flipped our sweater over and we're working along that bottom edge, okay? So grab one of the corners. I'm going to grab this corner here. This is the bottom corner, and locate the corner space, okay? So that would be the bottom front of your sweater. Grab the color you'd like to use. Mine's going to be green because it's the next color of my sequence. Bring the new yarn through with your hook. Tie that right on to the corner space. Okay, so then what we're going to do is reinsert the hook into that corner space, bring up a loop, and we're going to chain 3. 1, 2, 3. And then we're going to turn our work. So now that I have this sweater all nice and laid out, I have to flip it back over. And let me just get it all positioned. It's nice and lofty, so it's grown quite a bit, which is exciting. Okay, so we turned our work, and now we're going to start putting the seam clusters into all of these spaces across, okay? So let's get our tail out of the way. All right, so we're going to do, now this counts as one of our double crochets, so we're just going to add 2 into that first space. So 1 and 2 double crochets. Just like that to start it off. Okay, next we're going to chain 1. Then we're going to work 3 double crochets into the next space. So 1, 2, and 3. Chain 1, and then do the same thing. Work 3 double crochets into the next space. So that's 1, 2, and 3. Then chain 1. Work 3 double crochets into the next space. So we're just going to be doing this all the way across in each one of these chain 1 spaces. So chain 1, then work 3 double crochet into the next space. Just going to do this all the way across. I'm going to continue across until we get to that middle seam where we seamed it in the back. And I'm going to show you how to deal with that, and then we'll continue extending the bottom of our sweater. So this is what we have so far. Looks very nice, and it's adding some length. Okay, so I've been working the green all the way across, and now I'm at the seam. So the seam is similarly done to the sleeve. Remember we did the seam in the sleeve. So just locate those corner spaces. Same thing we did for the sleeve. So chain 1, then work your group of 3 into that corner space. 1, 2, 3. And then there will be another corner space because it's where we seamed it together. So locate that next corner space, which is right here. And we're going to work 3 double crochet into that corner space as well. So 1, 2, 3.
and that will take care of the area with the seam, okay? Then chain 1, and then just continue along working your 3 double crochets in those chain 1 spaces. Okay, so I'm going to continue working across, and then when we get to the end of this row, I'm going to show you how to finish up row 1 of your bottom part, and then we'll move on to row 2 of the bottom part. Okay, just working those 3 double crochets all the way across, okay? Okay, so I went all the way across, and now we're at the end. So that corner space again, you're going to chain 1. I already worked my chain 1. So chain 1, and then work 3 double crochet into that corner space just to finish off the row here. So 1, 2, and 3. Okay, so that will be row 1 of the extended part of the bottom. Okay, let's do row 2. Now to work the rest of this, we're just going to be repeating rows 1 and 2 over and over and over for as long as you like. I'm going to show you how to do row 2 now, and then that way you'll be able to take it as long as you need to. Okay, so for row 2, we're going to chain 4 this time, and that's because that's going to count as a double crochet chain 1, okay? So 1, 2, 3, 4, and then turn your work. So we have our big sweater here. Let me just get everything situated. Okay, I have a tripod back here, so I'm kind of positioning around all this. Okay, so we did our chain 4, we turned our work. Now in this first space that you come to, work your first cluster. So 3 double crochet, 1, 2, 3. Okay, so it'll look like that. Okay, then chain 1, and then 3 double crochet into the next space, and our row is starting to kind of look familiar again, similar to the last row we worked. So work your 3 double crochet, chain 1, 3 double crochet, chain 1, okay? All right, I'm going to keep going with mine all the way across. Now we don't have to deal with the seam this time because we've, where is it? Let's see, because we've worked our clusters right on through, so we can just work into each chain 1 space, including the one where we did the seam, because we just are treating this as rows now. We don't have to deal with any more seams. Okay, so just work your 3 double crochet, chain 1 all the way across, and then once we get towards the end of this row, I'll show you how to finish it off, and then you'll be all set to take this as long as you need it to go. Okay? Okay, so we're coming up to the end here. I'm just going to add that very last cluster of double crochets. So 1, 2, 3, chain 1. Now we're going to finish off the row by working a double crochet in the turning chain. So see this turning chain that we did at the beginning of the last row? The very top chain. So count 3 chains up, 1, 2, 3. And work a double crochet right into that turning chain, that topmost chain of the turning chain. And it should look like that, okay? So to lengthen your sweater even more, just keep repeating rows 1 and 2, 1 and 2, 1 and 2, over and over and over again for as long as you like. Now we still have a nice bit of yarn left, so you can really take your sleeves as long as you like. You can really take the length of the sweater as long as you like. I just wanted to show you one last thing to move back to row 1. So remember row 1, row 2, row 1, row 2. All you're going to do to repeat row 1 is just chain 3. 1, 2, 3. Turn your work and then work 2. To see this first space here, work 2 double crochets into that first space. So 1 and 2. I just wanted to show you that part because when we transitioned, when we did row 1 the first time around, we just tied the yarn right into that corner space. So then you'll just chain 1 and you'll just keep working your double crochets of groups of 3. 1, 2, 3, chain 1, and so forth. Okay, I just wanted to show you that part real quick. Okay, so see how the ends are nice and, or the sides are nice and straight, and then you'll just take that as long as you want. Now I'm going to work mine. I'm going to do 3 rows of green and then 3 rows of gray, just to keep with the color sequencing. So keep repeating rows 1 and 2 over and over until the length is how you want it to be. Now I'm going to remove my hook just for a moment, and the next part we're going to do is weaving in the ends, and then our sweater or cardigan will be complete. Okay, I'm just going to show you this part really quickly because chances are, like me, you'll have lots and lots of ends because we've done 2 hexagons and then we added length to the sleeves and length to the bottom. So you'll probably have lots and lots of ends. There's going to be 2 types of ends you're going to encounter. So for this part of our tutorial, you'll just need your tapestry needle and a pair of scissors. Now, as you trim all these ends, save them because you can use them to stuff other crochet items later, like pillows or stuffed animals, things like that. Okay, so let's look at the inside here because this is the wrong side. Remember, we seamed and the right side was facing outward. Some people also call this the public side of your work because it's what everyone sees. Okay, so let's go to the inside here. Now you're going to encounter 2 different types of ends. Now if you wove the ends in as you went along, those are already going to be tucked in. So all you're going to simply do is trim those with your scissors, and you'll probably see lots and lots of those every time you changed colors on one of your rounds, okay? The next type of end that you'll come across is, let me see if I can find one. Okay, here's one here. This one, I went from, this was the seam, if you can see that. The seam where I joined the 2 hexagons together, and then we started working on the length along the bottom. So this end didn't get woven in. So we're going to have to manually do it, if you will. So thread your tapestry needle. And then when you do your ends, just make sure this is a blue tail. So we're going to take this into the blue area only. We're not going to take it down into the green because it'll show and not look as nice. So again, this is the wrong side. This is what's going to be facing inward. So you want to keep that to the inside loops. So go ahead and go in one direction. Come back in the other direction just to kind of lock that tail into place. You can go in between the plies too. I've found that if you go in between the plies of yarn, it helps really keep it snug in there and not budge. Okay, and then just give it a little tug to straighten your stitches back out, and then you can trim that off. And then you'll just repeat that for all the other ends of your sweater, and then your sweater will be complete. Okay, so I hope that helped you kind of learn how to customize your sweater. And so this will wrap up the crochet along. So keep sharing those photos. Use that hashtag Fiber Flux CAL in all your social media because I've been seeing so many beautiful photos. And also a month from now, roughly a month from now, we're going to have the Fiber Flux Summer Maker Gallery. So if you want to participate in that, keep sharing those photos. You can share them on Ravelry. You can use the hashtag Fiber Flux CAL. You can even hop on over to the blog. If you go to the, I believe it's the welcome page, you can email them to me as well. So that is our crochet along. I hope that you enjoyed making this sweater. I can't wait to see. I've seen so many beautiful photos. I can't wait to see more as they come in. I know some of you are still working on your sweaters, and please take your time. This is all about relaxation and just having a wonderful, fun time in a community of people who are making the same thing. So that's it for our crochet along. Be sure and hit that subscribe button so you can get all the latest Fiber Flux updates, including the Maker Gallery, which will be coming in the next few weeks. Thanks so much for watching, and thanks again for participating. I will see you in the fall for our fall crochet along, and I already have it planned. I'm super excited. I know the colors, I know the yarn, I know what we'll be making, so I'm going to try and keep it to myself for now. In my updates, though, in the next couple of months, I will share a couple of clues here and there, so stay tuned for those as well. Thanks so much for watching, and happy crocheting. Bye, everyone!